I got a question emailed to me actually, because it was too long to be a YouTube comment. I guess it was like a paragraph that someone emailed to me. Don't email me, but if you must. So the question was, what is going to be transferring over to AQ Infinity? What should I be focusing on farming and obtaining in AQ Worlds that will be useful when AQ Infinity launches? So that's the premise of this video. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start off with classes. Classes are going to transfer over from AQ Worlds into Infinity, and we know of the first few that are going to be added because of the Kickstarter. So we have a list here. Umbra, Rune Illusionist, Forge Master are all new, along with Shadow Slayer. That's a new class. Sounds pretty cool. But Paladin, Dragon Slayer, Enforcer, Pirate, and Ninja are all existing classes that are in AQ Worlds right now that you can get. So because these classes are going to transfer over, you're going to be able to get them in AQ Worlds and then use them in AQ Infinity. You might have to wait for the early access period that the $120 tier has to wear off before you're allowed to use it in AQ Infinity. I don't know how that's going to work, but if you do have the class, you won't have to farm it again in AQ Infinity or get it anyway in AQ Infinity. So having all these classes in your inventory or bank would be a good thing before Infinity launches. So the Ninja class can be obtained from the trainer in Class Hall A, or you can go to the map where it originally is, but Class Hall A has a bunch of the classes in it, so it might be better off just to go here to the Class Hall, click on how to get, and then shop, and then Ninja class is in that shop. Alternatively, you can go, I think there might be a requirement to it, and then if you need to do the requirement thing, you can do that at Mizumi here in Green Guard West. The 4 base classes, by the way, already existed in AQ Infinity and were the ones that were playable before, so these all exist in the Class Hall A as well. So if you don't have the ones that you didn't start the game with, you might want to grab those as well. Dragon Slayer class also in Class Hall A from Darrell here, same as the Ninja one. Click the button, and if you need to do the reputation or however I think there's like quests you have to do to get the class. So you go to the lair and talk to the NPC up at the top inside the lair there in the first room, and you can get the class there. The next class, Enforcer, is a classic. You go to a crash site map on this. They actually changed it. I think it used to drop off the boss on this map, but now you have to click on the first NPC and do the quest line. I just did the whole quest line because I didn't have it done because it's like a newer thing they added to the game. And it took me less than 10 minutes to do it. It's just mobs on this map, and there's not a lot of them at all. So I'm on the last quest right now, and that just involves killing the boss once. So very easy. It's a level 20. You should be able to do that. There you go. And I just got unlocked the class like that easy. So there it is. So Enforcer Armor and the Enforcer class. So this will be one of the first usable classes in AQ Infinity. You can grab that right now in AQ Worlds. So you can be ready, because these will be different in AQ Infinity. So they might be kind of bad classes right now in the current AQ Worlds, but these might be the best classes we can use in AQ Infinity when it comes out. So getting all these will be good to have in the future. And the final class we know about that will be added to Infinity is the Pirate class. You get this in the map Pirates, and you have to do the quests here. So I just did them, just like the last one. It took me a couple minutes to do these. Very easy. The first one, you defeat the fish boss, and then you click on the chest. That might might have to wiki that, but other than that, very easy stuff. It's all on this one map. It took me like 10 minutes to do. Once you get the map recovery quest, you'll get the Pirate class as a reward. I think I already have the Pirate class. I don't. Okay, I swear I did, and I swear I've done these quests before, but you never know with this game. But I know what happened. They used to not be AC tagged, so you couldn't store in your bank for free. So I probably had it at one point and deleted it, and then they changed the quests here on how to get the class. I think so. You used to get the class a different way, so I think that's why I did not have it before, because every class in the game is AC tagged now, so you can store in your bank for free. Didn't used to be like that in AQ Worlds, but very good that it is now. So let's say you get the Pirate class. That will also be available. It's actually not a half bad class in AQ Worlds if you're new to the game as well. If you just started the game, very easy class to get, and it's pretty good too, so not too bad. Okay, so one thing you shouldn't be farming in AQ Worlds is weapon enhancements. Now, the Forge weapon enhancements are good in AQ Worlds, and you definitely want those if you play AQ Worlds, and you're going to keep them on your AQ Worlds account, and I don't think any of that's changing in the future, how you scale power in actual AQ Worlds. So if you want to farm any of the high-end, harder to get Forge enhancements, they'll still always work in AQ Worlds, as far as we know right now. They might change them or something, who knows, but they haven't stated anything that would lead me to believe that, but you never know. But in AQ Infinity, it's going to be completely different. They have something called weapon gems, which they've shown on the AQ 2D update website. For this is a screenshot of AQ Infinity right here that we're looking at right now. And it says Thief Weapon Gem, level 2, power 22, common, and that changes how you do it. And you can dust your gems, and you can craft new gems, and there's going to be a gem crafting skill in AQ Infinity. So the way that the power of your items is determined is going to be completely different in AQ Infinity. So farming anything related to that, including damage boosted weapons in AQ Worlds, is going to be what we know right now as a waste of time. Now, in the future, having a damage boosted weapon in AQ Worlds or one of the higher end forge enhancements might get you a benefit in AQ Infinity. Like maybe if you have one of the forge enhancements unlocked, maybe that'll unlock a different gem you can craft in AQ Infinity or something like that might happen in the future. I doubt it will, because then you'd have to go and play AQ Worlds to do the old enhancement system. For the new, I don't think they'll want people, because some people won't be able to because it'll be a mobile or whatever, right? So they can't go and play the old Flash game on their iPhone, for example. So I don't think there will ever be a benefit to having the forge enhancements in AQ Infinity. And they've said that they haven't said they weren't going to put forge enhancements in, but they're changing it to this gem system. They want to improve it, because it's kind of like a duct tape thing in AQ Worlds, how you power up your character. So that's that. So I wouldn't farm any forge, and I wouldn't farm the damage boost. Now, I think the damage boost is a lot more likely to give you the benefits, because those are also going to be in AQ Worlds as items, right? So if you have an SOD, the Necrotic Sword of Doom, if you have that in AQ Worlds, then you'll still have it in AQ Infinity, but it won't have the boost on it. So you'll still have the item. So they'll still know who has the item. So they could tie something to that in the future. So it might not be a big waste to farm it, because you might get a benefit from it in the future, but it won't be the 50% damage boost that it has right now. So I wouldn't farm it thinking that you're going to get that same benefit in the next game. On another note, the things that are transferring over to AQ Infinity from Worlds include the cosmetic items you get from things like the feature gear shop or from farming any of the items. So these are going to have to be transferred. They're going to have to be ported over, but if you buy this, for example, for 1000 ACs, this armor will be available in the next game, and it's just a cosmetic. But things like cosmetic drops, they do rare drops every week in the game. You check on Twitter, on Alina's Twitter for that, or I make a video every Sunday that goes over all of the new items that got added that weekend, because that's when they add the items. So stuff like that will transfer over eventually when it gets ported, of course. So stuff like that will be good to have, and if it's a rare item, you're not going to be able to get it again in the future, so it will be like something you could only get by playing AQ Worlds unless you IODA it, or yeah, something like that. So that stuff will be good to get right now. Your gold is transferring over. As far as we know, your membership is transferring over. You can buy years of membership that stacks, right? So if you buy 1 year membership and another year, it stacks. As far as we know, that is transferring over. They haven't said anything about changing the membership system or anything like that. They have specifically said that the adventure coins are transferring over. And I'm just assuming the membership is, because ACs are. The membership might not, but as far as we know, it is, because they wouldn't, I don't think they would be transferring over ACs if they weren't membership. Gold transfers over. Your inventory slots are transferring over to the game as well. So if you buy inventory slots in this game, they are transferring over to the next game. 500 is max right now that I have, and that's max you can get. House inventory, stuff like that, also transferring over to the next game. So all that stuff is transferring over. So anything, basically anything you can spend money on in AQ Worlds will be transferring over to Infinity, with the exception of the enhancements and the damage boosted items. So, which I guess you can spend money on those with the IODAs, but most of that stuff is farmed. So other than that stuff, I think I've gone over everything that's changing. Oh yeah, I think your house was transferring over too, from what we know. I don't think they've said that it isn't, but I don't think they have given a clear answer that it is. But there are houses in AQ Infinity, because a house is one of the prizes for one of the tiers on the Kickstarter, so I would assume all the house stuff. There isn't really that many houses in AQ Worlds. It's actually a surprisingly small amount of houses in AQ Worlds for like the tens of thousands of other items they have. There's not really that many houses, so I imagine they are going to transfer over. So that's everything. Oh yeah, the XP on your character not transferring. Your player levels not transferring. They actually recently talked about increasing the level, not increasing the level cap by power, but like adding like prestiging or cosmetic level increases to the level 100 in AQ Worlds Flash. But in AQ Infinity, you're starting at 0, and your level actually is going to probably be reset between the playtest, the alpha, the closed beta, and the live game. They might reset your level in that game, but you're going to start at 0, and you have to work your way up again. In AQ Infinity, it's going to have a separate level, separate damage boosting for your items, like all that stuff. The way basically every way you power progress your character is going to be reset in AQ Infinity. All your cosmetics and stuff will transfer. So that's about the gist of everything. I don't think I missed anything. Let me think. Oh yeah, I might as well mention this. Your reputations. So this has not been brought up at all, but I'm going to assume it's not transferring over. The reason I say this is because, like I said, they're changing them with the power gems and everything. They're changing how the weapon progression goes. They're completely redoing the 13 Lords of Chaos. And some of these, of course, are tied to that with the reputations. So they might not reset. These might be something you want to farm, but I wouldn't put too much stock into, if you only care about playing Infinity, I wouldn't put too much into farming up reputations in AQ Worlds, because these might not transfer over. But they might. We haven't got a clear answer on that yet. So that's up in the air. But if it was me, going off what we know, I wouldn't spend too much time farming these up. That might not be great advice I'm giving out, but like I said, it's up in the air. We don't have a concrete answer on that. Also, I mentioned classes earlier in the video, and like I just said, with the 13 Lords of Chaos being the first thing they're going to start porting into AQ Infinity, the classes that go along with the 13 Lords of Chaos are also going to be ported. Stuff like the class here, the Lycan class, Vampire class, the Troll class, that one, yeah. So these classes, this one, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a class for this area. It's in the first room of the rep shop. So the classes that go along with the 13 Lords of Chaos, that stuff is going to be the first set of classes that are going to be in AQ Infinity as well. So going through the 13 Lords of Chaos and acquiring all the classes from each of those areas in the rep shops would be a good idea to do as well. Yeah, once you're done with the base ones that we know from the Kickstarter, those are the actual first set, and then after that they're going to start doing it with the 13 Lords of Chaos. So, and there's going to be different ways of acquiring them in AQ Infinity from what they've said. So it might be harder to get them in AQ Infinity, it might be easier. So it's kind of a gamble getting them in AQ Worlds, I guess, because it might be easier in Infinity, it might be harder. So we don't know, but if you want to right now get them, it's not too hard to get any of those in AQ Worlds, so you might want to go through and do those as well. And that's all for this video. That's everything. I can't think of anything else that isn't transferring over. Like, we know our gold and our ACs are transferring over, all our cosmetics are transferring over, and basically it's just the damage boosted and the enhancements that aren't, that we know of. But you know, that's sort of up in the air too, because they might give you some benefit for having them, but we don't know. So it's a lot of not knowing is the thing with this, so you're kind of guessing. But stuff you definitely shouldn't do is like XP grinding, you shouldn't be doing, reputation grinding, you shouldn't really be doing, and just getting the base classes is what you're going to want to do to set yourself up. But there's not much more you can do, because a lot of stuff is going to have to be progressed in AQ Infinity when that actually comes out, other than collecting cosmetics in AQ Worlds that will be rare. So that's about it. Thank you for watching this video. Leave a like on it. Comment down below if you have any questions, or other people in the comments might be able to answer those. If I don't get them, I read every comment, so leave them down below and I'll answer them if I think it's a thing I didn't answer in this video that I should have. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.